Okay, that should be me. All's good. Yep. Yep. Okay. Okay, so just before the stream started, I had a moment of clarity based upon what Kanye sent me yesterday. Basically, this file replacements, and I looked at the Angular JSON for the production build and realized that production.ts was not being replaced. I don't know why the URL was working. However, with that in place, our domain and our API URL there. And now when we click this, we get the login. So I'm going to live with that for right this second. I output them on the screen, so I need to go and return that to rollback that. Oh, I'd already decided to remove it. App, views, landing component. Let's remove that. Let's do the replacement there, might as well. And then change this to remove that. That fixes that. That fixes that. Mr. Jones, good afternoon. How are you doing? Let's do this. Removed debug labels for validating production configuration. Used for file imports. And push that. So, that being said, we should be able to hit this, do test at test.com, log in, and get actual failure. There we go. We're in the application. Failed to load resource with, right? Oh no. Ah, that's an interesting challenge. On to the next one. Rambling Geek, thank you very much for 12 months. Much appreciated. Good day. This just doesn't want to work for me, does it? Okay, Tails, go lay down. Go lay down. So, okay, one step forward, 10 steps back. It's all good. Things are good. We just got login working to the application. So that's interesting. It redirects oh, but I can't. Okay. So while I'm in the application, it's fine. But if I hit enter on that URL, it's not going to work. So we can work with it for now. Zero motivation day. I feel that. Pretty much every day. Grass is not always greener. Okay. So The challenge there is this config map, right? If I do that, does that do what I want? No, 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 not that. Does that do what I want? Start a new website I can intend to attack. Anyone heard of Liquid's Go before? Or you start with that. I know you're joking, but I just one of the things I do genuinely worry about is that obviously doing this on stream and promoting that URL, I do leave this open. Like right now, you could go to that URL and register a tenant, and it would work. Um, yes, this is. It's hosted on a machine. It's actually hosted on a mini PC behind me. It's through. It's not. It's tunneled through Cloudflare, so it shouldn't expose any details there. But do remember that I do catch your URL, your address as well on the way through. Um, that will be the goal. Once I have this initial phase done, the goal will be to shut this down and tighten it up. I'm hoping that I can do that. Um, but yeah, but right now you could go and register a new account, and it will, in theory, work. Gotcha. Yeah, it's a challenge. There's a lot of loading. We gotta. Those are things we'll have to figure out. Um, Pulumi, up dash Y. So the problem with that is then I will never fall through to 404, which is probably okay. That's the least of my worries right now. Yep, I know. The little loading thing. He's right, it is. That's what it is called. Probably deliberately. Oh, that doesn't work. Log out. I've got a feeling this won't work now. Oh, that logs out to there. Interesting. Oh, that works. Ah, that's client deployment. Delete that. Yes. Did I not push those changes? Oh, no, I didn't. So this is set to always pull from the image. So if I delete the running pod, it will replace it with the current image, which is good. So if I change behavior, like having those URLs at the bottom. So I'm not going to stress about this right now, but I do need to figure that out, right? I need to figure out, okay, what are the routes that could possibly go there? I've got a feeling I need to do some sort of regex here. So dot star. Oh, one more try. And then we're going to move on to the service. So to get this correct, technically the view would be the next thing up, I suppose. So let's go over here. Go over here. Forward them. That still works. Sign in. Yeah, no. So it's redirecting. It is giving me the actual site. But obviously I'm gonna have to figure out how to tighten that this pattern up so that the client service handles all the routing. Because if you just refresh the page, it will fail. If you navigate and it'll work because it's not actually loading the page, it's just changing the URL. But if you refresh, then it will fail. So that's that. Again, there's a lot of optimization to do here. This is not the nope, that's not inappropriate. That is accurate. That is the name we have given that piece of technology, I suppose, is the right way to put it. Okay, so let's get. I kind of want to fix that first. Well, there's one thing I do want to know before I go further forward. Was that not? No, it was all there. I don't know how it worked. Okay. Nice. Morning, daughter, by the way. Okay. So let's bring up this. Git status. Git add. Git diff. Let's see what I did there. Broker TS. Just organization. Git add. Git commit. Include paths for fuel. No. I don't like doing commits. It bugs me to put a commit in that is kind of a, oh, by the way, do this later. But if I get this service working, then I can use the application without refreshing and then come back around on the refresh problem, whereas which will give me more success than so we're about to move into another phase. Okay. Git checkout main, git pull, just to make sure. Git merge, add tenant management. Is that the root? That is the root, isn't it? Didn't squash that. Oh well, it's fine. Okay, git checkout -b, add. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add the view components, but start with the receivers and the consumers. Or the receivers to be precise. We need to deploy the receiver service. So this is where it's going to get challenging. So tenant management, I assume we're going to have view receivers. And this is going to be view infrastructure receivers module view receivers, because that's going to end up with, because of the base image, that's going to end up with ls view receivers. And I build on it, publish. I think this works fine. It's still a standalone project. It still can be deployed. Sorry. So this will do. Check out Liquid Sky, check out Foundation. So we've got all the pieces. We'll take view. Oh no, I've got to name it the same. Got to name it the same. Unless we create another variable. Module. Super easy, but done in minutes. Home Assistant. Um, the project. Because then that would be. Oh, how do I do a coalesce in here though? Just make this much harder for myself. Because what I want to say is from that, and that's from that. That doesn't really make a difference. Ag. That work. Because then that can be from that. The Raspberry image has an option to install. Started setting up home system myself last night, but then I got hung up testing different OSs. Don't forget, by the way, that if you haven't seen it, Memsworth is streaming. He's doing Advent of Code. Apex. Thank you very much for the gifted sub. I appreciate it. Hope you well. How are you doing? How are things? And will this work? I kind of want to know. Um, is that a coalesce in whatever this is? Um, Getting things sorted out in life, but doing well. Let's keep moving forward. YAML. Um, Coalesce. Nice. That's not gonna help me. GitHub actions. Expressions in workflows. How have you been doing? Seen a lot more people on the stream. That's awesome. It varies based on my progress, I suppose. But um, I've been doing good. We've been getting Liquid Sky deployed. So this is actually running on a little Kubernetes cluster. So we've been working through Pulumi and the challenges that's posing. So we've got the SQL Server deployed, the Kafka instance, console, a tunnel, a Cloudflare tunnel deployed, so we can connect the domain, and just basically just moving forward, trying to get this all just starting to function. So the SQL Server here, yeah, So yeah, um, making progress. But the app's starting to be functional, which is the major thing. And then hopefully by the end of the year, I can have people log in and test it for a little while, then tear it all down, um, rebuild it, and lock it down so that Mojo and I can use it going into the new year to dog food the application itself. Um, that is the solid intention right now. Expressions, literals, operators. So is that more likely going to be that? Let's see what happens. Spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now. uh, testing. We were playing with that one, weren't we, to run the SQL stuff. That can go away right now. We don't want to mess around with that. I'm not even going to mess with that. Create view receivers. YAML for publishing. Found a way to integrate Godot with Visual Studio using GUnit 4 to run test cases much faster because VS can make the build faster than Godot can. Interesting. Have you played around with Rider since it went free? Not not saying that Visual Studio isn't a good environment. Um, just from a running perspective, I've always found Rider to be a bit faster than Visual Studio. So very close though. Huh. Yeah, Rider. I think actually Rider, WebStorm, PHP. I think they all went free for hobby use. Create video publishing view receivers updated base image to asset optional from so as to find Rider slower. Maybe the new release go faster though. I think they did. You find Rider slower for everything than Visual Studio. Oh, yeah. I do know Rider has some issues with if if I go to build and don't have this running because it's a referenced source, Rider does not like it. Like a source not being available is, even though it's not used in any of the packages, that frustrates me. I haven't looked at Cursor. The AI editor. thought about kind of deep diving into how NuGet works. It'd probably pay off huge. Blew Copilot out of the water. Yeah. I probably need to go create a repository, don't I? Docker hub. The better you are at the shortcuts, the more it almost hurts. Create repository, ls, view, receivers. I know AI tooling isn't for everyone, but I like that it gets boilerplate out of the way for me. It can do, definitely. I don't object to AI stuff too much. I do worry, and I raised this on one line stream last week that um they were talking about licensing, and when we're working on code and that code is covered by a license, but we've got AI turned on, and that AI is reading our code and using that code to make better decisions. How can we complain when someone writes almost the identical code because they're just using um they're just using AI? They don't know that they've not intentionally stolen code. They've not intentionally stolen an idea, but it's out there in the AI. So how do you avoid that? Um, view receivers, LSU receivers, private. Let's create that. So this won't have run anything because um, see again, I get the whole uh, private mode idea, but it's going to benefit the most from being able to parse that content and process it properly. So to get context, so if it parses it, is it storing all that on your local machine? In which case, the cost of working is heavier. What about systems that have cloud-based editors? I mean, there's a whole lot of questions that I think we just kind of brush over because it's just there's a lot to consider. Application deployment, actions. So to trigger this view receivers, the rise of the expert beginners, we need to change something in here. Let's remove that. Let's remove default console comment from program CS. Commit and push. And I just realized I was waving at a screen that no one was seeing before. So right now that receivers file. Oh, we need to make sure that says view receivers. Name on view receivers. Although that's going to get confusing. Oh, there we go. Now it's labeled as tenant management, but it's actually the view receivers one that's doing this. It's not good. It did build view infrastructure receivers. It built the right package. Process completed. So repositories, view receivers, tags, builds. So what went wrong there? That's interesting though. Repositories, LS tenant management, tags, tenant management, does tenant management. Oh, because we tagged the local image. Okay, so that one does want to be imports.module because that's what that it creates that image, and then this image is that. Okay, and then we tag the run number on the end. Okay. Um, correct push image base for current image. I'd say we're all pretty much experts at beginning of things, Mojo, by the way. I mean, I think it comes with wanting to learn and grow. And I think what we do is kind of, well, to the same extent, right? We want to learn and grow. We want to pick up new things, but we don't always have an end goal in sight. Um, by picking a project that you actually are passionate about gives you the ability to engage more. Um, better you become at finishing things, the worse you get at beginning things. Be right back. Getting coffee. No worries. Thanks for the luck. I think, like, I fight every day to not begin something new. You know, I want to begin. Um, I want to begin working on developers.stream. Right? I think that'd be cool. I think that's a useful thing that will help um, streamers support streamers. Um, developers.stream is an idea I had a long time ago. I bought the domain, kind of built a site around it, but the intention is to build a better version of that that has an API available so that you can hook your bot into it, and if someone joins the stream that you want to shout out, it will automatically pull you some description based upon what they say about themselves. And then you will also be able to use it to find developers who stream, like search and whatnot. So yeah, by the internet, he means Facebook Marketplace. So tenant management. So it should actions. So can I rerun this now? Now push that change. So Yeah, so the idea will be you'll be able to hook in your bot to an API, be able to query for people joining the stream. If they're streamers themselves, it would let you know or whatever, and you could automatically shout them out, or you could at least be told that they are a streamer. Clear requirements, guarded unwanted results. So yeah, there's a there's an inkling of an idea there. Basically, what's happening is One Lion has really helped me a lot recently in that he's done a lot of my shout outs for me because I'm very bad at doing shout outs. I'd like to, people like Mojo, Rambling Geek, yourself, all streamers. No such image view receivers latest. So what does that do then? And he's here, just trying to get stuff done. No worries, no worries. That was not a request to do shoutouts. Everyone else in here knows each other, so that was not a request. I was just saying I appreciate you. So my problem there is that is not creating the image I want it to create, is it? Can I specify the image name? So if I do, so basically if I go to a terminal, come on, I gotta fix that. So cd dot source. Oh, this is a new style. Infrastructure receivers. And if we do this line, so we do, actually, no, we can do it up here. ls cd dot that from here. So .NET publish dot slash liquid sky slash source slash view infrastructure receivers dash c release dash o build slash view receivers OS Linux. OS Linux brings the size of the image down, by the way. That's why that's specified. P publish profile equals default container. So we need to get a handle on what image that actually creates. So even though I'm going to release output as build view receivers, does that create an image for me, or does that still create a view infrastructure receivers image? Gotta fix those warnings. So if we go over here now, go to images. I didn't create an image. Oh, what? Default container. A published profile with the name default container was not found in the project. Ooh. That's an interesting one. Published profile container for console application. .NET 8. So .NET container image. So starting with .NET SDK 8.0.2, the publish container image tag is available for every project to avoid depending on the Microsoft build contains NuGet package. Ensure that you're using the latest .NET SDK version. Additionally, your project file needs to have publishable set to true and enable SDK support. So what, by default, do they do that? Let's try that once more. A publish profile. But that build with the latest version of 8. I'm not just going to leave them in there for right a second. Set the container image name. I don't want to do this though. Publish container. I don't want to publish. I want to publish an image. Publish profile default container. Container family. I'm not trying to wire my Docker specifics into this. The actual registry is not something I want to tie into these particularly at this point. Realistically, all I want to do is publish the image. I do not need to publish beyond the image. In a repository, I set the container image name. There are various configurations. No one pushing up as a container, but it doesn't look like we have this available to us. Now, tenant management. That's Docker. That's because I created a Docker file there previously. That shouldn't matter. I mean, that's saying that works. He's now on the internet. So why doesn't that? Oh, .NET SDK 9. I'm gonna have to put a freaking. I want to put global JSON in, but I'm gonna have to put a global JSON in. I don't want to. I don't want to set. I don't want to. I don't want this building off .NET 9 right now. It shouldn't matter. And yes, I know that all this will need updating soon, but I don't want to build everything off .NET 9 at this point. And Let's do add open Explorer, new global.json. What was that? 307. So that doesn't work. The reason I'm trying to focus on, hold on. If I do that, does that work for this? Oh, that does. Ah, nice. I can avoid putting global JSON inside of the actual application. What I'm trying to validate is that if it was running on .NET 8, which apparently I didn't have that specific version installed, if it's running on .NET 8, then is it a container image difference between the platforms, right? Because I built these others when it was .NET, definitely .NET 8, and I installed .NET 9 when it released. So using a global JSON from the directory you execute it will override the .NET version. And it seems I didn't have that version installed, so I thought it just had to be anywhere in the path. Okay. Default container was not found in the project, so the published profile property to provide name. Okay, so now it's definitely using .NET. Okay. Publish/t publish container. That's what I'm doing though, isn't it? Isn't that exactly what I'm doing? Which seems like the wrong thing. Oh no, hold on. /t publish container. I still think this is going to need, I think this might actually still need inputs from inputs.module there, inputs.from there. Oh, /t. What was it? default container, publish container. Did that work then? Did that create an image? Nope, I didn't create an image. So this one didn't error. It didn't also do anything. This isn't how much now instead of warnings and getting build errors. Publish container does not exist in the project. If you upgrade to 8, this should just work. Can you try that installed? It indeed resolves build errors. Yeah, right. So for reference, if I do .NET version 80307, so I'm beyond 80200. So this should not be. I still think that needs to be that way. I think it's still going to publish an image. That's the image locally, and then we tag it with this name. So this name locally doesn't really make a difference. But will work for web, will not work for console application. Can confirm I understand from some of the link bugs. Yeah, that's right. It does. I won't go into too much detail, but the mechanism that translates P publish profile equals default into T publish container doesn't exist and will likely never exist for the vast majority. That's weird. So they're doing like that. And they're doing P container image name input start module. That still won't work. Let me just solve this. Doesn't do anything. Just P container image name. Yeah. Jeff, the Wonder image does not exist. I'm going to bet. Nope. If it creates the image, it should work there, but it's not working. So let's go back to this. Dash P publish profile equals default container. Yeah. Publish profile with the name default container was not found in the project. Set the publish profile to a proper name. So the piece I'm trying to get over right now is if I'm gonna build out the application, everything has to become an image, right? Everything that's going to be deployed has to become an image. So, um, you got snow, nice, or a lot of frost. So the receivers, the consumers, the view, the consumers, the HTTP, the tickets, all these things need to be services. So I have to be able to deploy these as images. This is apparently the right way to do this in that would allow us to do that, which would be good. Rather than creating Docker files and messing around with that. And Mojo and I went through a lot of effort to get to this point. So I don't want to give up on this. It's got to be possible. Default container, console application .NET 80307. That's not right. Shouldn't have to specify that. I'm not giving full. If you are new to the stream, by the way, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, if you'd like to know more about the project, you're more than welcome to ask. I'm happy to dive out and talk about what the actual project is. It is a .NET project, a large .NET project for project management and planning. Yeah, more than welcome to talk about it. Let us know. Maybe I grew up below I-10, so I don't know what. A dusting. Upon fixing this is 7 by unifying the publish profile targets in SDK across project types. But it doesn't. Okay, so if we add that property group, let's just add it to the project. Edit, view infrastructure. Let's add the property group as a separate property group. That's nope, doesn't make it available. Kijana, link that. Let's resolve that. By default, is publishable property set to true for console, web app, and worker templates. So it's not necessary to enable SDK container support. So that's by default true. So I'm not going to move that into its own property group just for the sake of that. .NET SDK. Hard to me to find what the expansion of T publish. Do we have an API reference? As you can see, is the MS build command line parameter to build a particular MS build target. That's all. Publish container is the name of the MS build target that actually builds and pushes a container. Previous versions, all the publish profile did was hide the fact that they were calling MS build target under the hood. Now this is less hidden and more clear. There we go. .NET, MS build, targets, select, string, container. Absolutely nothing. Okay, so let's go. Let's go into the actual project. CD, Liquid Sky, source, view, infrastructure, receivers, .NET, MS build, targets, publish container right there. Select string, container. Hang on. It from within here. Now this might do .NET 9 again, but we'll find out. Oh, hold on. Publish profile equals publish container. That's not default container though. Publish profile with the name publish container was not found. So /t publish container. That doesn't make sense. Why does it complain about workloads when I do that? Let's just do that. CD dot. So if we go to tenant management, we do .NET, MS build, target, back to select string, container. Publish container. Was it /t? No. Where does default so publish container has to come from the build target. The default container has to come from publish container. Well, yeah, again, there's differing versions. So the argument is that this here, this publish profile, is a synonym or a shortcut or whatever, an alias for /t build tag. There you go. Thank you. I was getting there. Now back to unified publishing experience. Does this mean that I can remove /t publish container and use the common -p publish profile equal default container? Exactly the inverse. Publish profiles are not usable by IO project types. Instead, you should use /t publish container. This will work for all application project types and can even be done at the solution level, which publish profiles cannot. But that doesn't work. So let's go cd dot view infrastructure receivers. I dislike it when it's like this because it's just okay. So they're saying /t. Let's remove Jeff the Wonder image there. Let's do. Oh, I know what I was doing wrong there. /t publish container. I know what I was doing wrong. Yep, there you go. That'll work. Okay. View infrastructure receivers. Okay, so now let's put that back one step. So add left the dash P. Let's see if it creates Jeff the Wonder image. Container repository instead. Still create Jeff the Wonder image though. There you go. It stands out, that's why. Okay. So we should be able to do, instead of this, we should be able to /t publish container. And hey, Radio Patrick. Hello. It's going well. How about yourself? You are regretting moving to a really, really cold place? If the weather's hope you're well. In all seriousness, hope you're well. One day at a time. Okay. Well, first day on Monday. Nice. Exciting. Bit of time to settle in. Nice. Yeah, it's not easy that like getting settled again when you move. I mean, I've moved 30 miles, 200 miles, 3,500 miles. So I have I've done a variety of moves over my life. Oh, sorry to hear that. Truly sorry. That's the right way to do that. This is where we now find out .NET has changed everything else, and we end up with a push and pull on what works and what doesn't. Being apart for 2 weeks in a reaction to that really brought to the front some differences in what we both want in a relationship, and I'm not going to drag her across the country with some abstract promise that maybe I'll eventually be able to treat her how she needs. That's a tough one, man. I'm sorry. Especially starting a new chapter. That's not easy. But a menace of a pet bird that would have come to me eventually. Yes, I figured it out, Mojo. Yeah. Yes. I think this is going to work now. I don't think I need that at all. The heck is that? Why are you creating a build folder? No. Delete that. Oh, yes, because it does that. What about that? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. That can go away. Delete the build folder. There we go. Okay. So, update base image to use standard, to use build target, which is more widely. Again, making confusing ways to do this. From what I remember, the instructions are line depending on whether you set up the C press. I don't. I mean, I'll check that once more. Now I've retrieved for that. Let's do that. Oh, damn it. It's going to create the build folder again. No, I don't want a build folder. But that did create the image. He says. No, it didn't. Oh, come on. That didn't create the image. So you do need at the very least to modify the project to include you need to include enable SDK container support. Plus, I spent a lot of time to program this last week, and so been able to finish the last bits on the radio station website and work on a Python script to automate downloading new music for the station library based on changes to Spotify playlists. Nice. Wait, do you? Or what are you trying to do different than what we did? So if you're building a console application, it does not have the build type, the publish profiles like the websites do. So the website has the publish default container, whereas with the more standard way of doing it is this way with the build target of publish container, and specifying the container repository allows me to give it the name I want to use. So OneLine has kindly been building up snippets to share when doing shoutouts, based upon his understanding of the channel and what you do, and nails it most of the time from what I've seen. There you go. So that's what developers that stream should allow us to do, so that oh, now you distracted me with Discord. Yeah, but the publish profile doesn't work in a console app. That's the problem. It works in a web app because publish profiles exist in web apps, but it doesn't work in console app. But ultimately, that publish profile translates from what I'm seeing so far to target publish container. So, yeah. Wait, so then what do you do if you're making a minimal web app in a console project? same thing. I mean, they're saying that this is a standard part. This is the standard way of doing it, right? This works for all project types. It's just the webs have published profiles available to them because they have different targets and stuff that can be handled. So, but being what I'm doing with this, it's fine. So if I run that again before I do the commit there, now I should see an image called view receivers. Yep, build an image. So you have to have that modification. Anwin, hello. How you doing? Hope you are well. Oh, not bad. Working through challenge after challenge. Yeah, I'm not using the publish UI. This is all build scripts. Okay, so that does create the image. There's view receivers. Okay, so let's delete that so I don't waste the space. Now let's push this. Mod wireless support to use build target, which is the console application to include container support. Build target. It's a frustrating way of doing it. Let's delete that again. So for anyone new to the stream, what I'm trying to do is build an application. Well, what I've been working on for the past year is building an application for project management and planning. I'm at the stage where I want to deploy a version of the application that is usable for me to dog food the application, basically build the application with the application rather than using other tools. So tracking the work that needs to be done, etc. The first phase of that is to get it deployed to a Kubernetes cluster. That's what I've been working on for the past 18 days. And as frustrating as that might be, as entertaining as that might be at times, it's a necessary part because as I go forward with the application, as I make decisions, I should understand what the consequences of making those decisions are and how much research I need to do on how to deploy, what it means to have it deployed in Kubernetes, or do I need to build out a system separately to support some of these things like SQL Server and stuff. I'm not looking to use this as a production system, but I do want to build it out as an actual application that is usable. So the first phase is getting that built and deployed, then allowing viewers of the stream access to the site. Technically, you do have access right this second, but I will delete everything. And if I see stuff creating, I'll just shut it down. I don't want to lose control of this right now. It is hosted through Cloudflare, so it's tunneled through. Yeah, so I'm trying to share that journey. So if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to ask or share, as long as it's constructive. And I'm all about conversation. I don't mind discussing the project, discussing the ideas in the project. But yeah, so that's where it is. So what I'm working on right this second is building the first of the Kafka consumers that will start to pull the data into the actual databases, and then we're able to query the information and whatnot. So yeah, the reason I'm setting up view infrastructure receivers first is because that actually receives tenant users. So this will create data. This will prove to me that Kafka receivers are working, that I'm able to consume that data, store it in another database, configure the connections, etc., and get those pieces up and running. So my hope is, this is a hope, and that's before I got into this publish mess, right? My hope is that by the end of the stream today, I can actually have that piece functional. but we'll see. I've said that before. Okay, so we go over to, no, close that one. Here we go. So now this, view receivers, here we go. Oh, that ran 3 minutes ago. Update base image to use build target. Oh, because I updated the project as well. So that did run this time. That did build and publish. And we should have an image over there. Repositories, LS view receivers, 2 minutes ago. Yep, latest pushed. Nice. Okay, so now the fun part. So I'm still going to configure these databases manually, right? These view databases. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do that. Run all them. Pop, 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 pop. Then take these. Last view. Run. Bop, 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 bop. Oh no, one failed. There you go. Invalid task counts by requirement. Interesting. DBO, views. Oh, we have a dependency on it. Interesting. Requirements view has a dependency on this view. So that has to go to, well, that view will now run. That'll run now because it's there. Yeah. Okay. But let's not lose track of that one. DBO. So there's our tables and views, 15 and 14. 15 and 14, everything's there now. Okay. So what we need to do, this is the harder component. So these are app modules, right? Add tenant management. I don't actually need things the way I did, but we'll see. Let's add a new folder. View receivers. This is almost add new file, index.ts. Doesn't require RabbitMQ. Does require console. This depends on is something I'm still trying to learn more about. LS view receivers. So drop the infrastructure word from that because it's not. LS view. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to separate out the pieces enough that later on I can tweak them and change them because I do want to set up different usernames and passwords for every single component. Everything's going to live in one database. in one database server, sorry, not one database. There are many databases in the database server. I'm not, again, I'm not stressed about scale out here. I'm not stressed about any of that. Um, okay, good. Um, but yeah, I want the ability later on to do what I need to do. Okay, else view receivers. So this is, let's do view receivers secret. This secret is the same secret for pulling the image. It's the credentials for pulling um, from Docker Hub. But you can't have a shared secret across multiple namespaces. I do want to put these in different namespaces right now. Over time, I'm going to get better at being more um, comfortable with how namespaces should work. What's the best patterns with Kubernetes? But I'm not trying to learn those things, right? I'm not trying to be the best at deployment. I'm trying to deploy this and understand the challenges involved so that later on I can double back and um, yeah, there's no ports on this one. So what does that mean? Type. So nothing communicates with this. So I don't need a service. I don't need a service. If we go to the here, app settings, there is only view. So I don't need, so just need view there. That's still the same right now. That's the same, that's the same, that's the same, that's fine. We don't need that. Kafka will be the same. Yeah, so we need app settings, base, JSON. So that won't matter. So we don't need the connection string in there because we're going to use the this method to set that in the actual. This will, doing it this way, if this application was deployed, this kind of goes to what you were talking about, Mojo. If this application was deployed, this will be replaced with configuration in Azure or in whatever's going to provide the app settings. It will actually still work. So this will override that value. So app settings JSON doesn't need the actual those pieces, and it probably doesn't need a lot of this stuff anyway. Mass transit. I don't think I need mass transit in this one. I don't need mass transit in this because this doesn't listen to mass transit. This is a Kafka receivers. This is going to matter. Um, I'll leave it as that for right this second so that I can align um, broker, broker. That matters for publishing. So we do need that. and that configuration map. Do that. We don't need service address. We don't need RabbitMQ address in this one. We do need console, and we do need that. These eventually I want to put in a dictionary somewhere so I can share the setup. I think that's going to be the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to store like a global dictionary of all the services names because they're going to be set consistently. That's the goal. Whether that's the right thing or not, I don't know, but okay. So that should do this mapping, this mapper.replace should do the mapping replacement on all those things. So it should give me a version. Oh, that's an interesting one. Ooh. That is an interesting challenge. Oh no, I'm not adding it as a. This isn't being added as a health check. Now, ultimately, I probably do want to introduce some sort of HTTP piece into these to register them as service address into the service discovery. Mainly because I do want to be able to run health checks. Without running this as it stands, Kubernetes might not like it. As I vaguely remember going through this pain before, so I'm not going to try and preempt that. What I want to do is build this out and see what happens. But yeah, from past experience, I think what's going to happen is it's going to don't like that. It's going to complain because Kubernetes isn't going to know that this is running. It's going to say, "Oh no, it's finished. Oh no, it's finished." It's going to error it. Potentially, it might run. But yeah, we'll see. So that's that. This is going to be view receivers app settings. I don't know about this. My naming, there's all sorts of things I need to go over. But again, this is that place of, you know, um, um, when you're first learning something, you're kind of bumbling through the things. You're not thinking about the refinement and the improvements as you go. So it's a challenge. It's something that I'm going to can remove that now. App settings, app settings, app settings. That's all that. We don't need that. We do need those three things, and we don't need that. There's no service here, so that's fine. Add view receivers. Service collection. So I'm just saying, I'm just grabbing them. So I say this depends on. So the idea would be that this kind of controls the startup of the application a little bit. Let's do tenant. Okay, there's no word tenant in there. So services collection dot services view receivers equals and view receivers. Deployment. That's because that doesn't match that signature, is it? This is meant to be deployment reference. Not, did I not remove it? Oh yeah, I do need it. I do need that just to tell me. Hey, Emporium guy. How you doing? It's limited to 2 or more viewers to try because I got a bunch of people that would just do 1 person raids, and it was like, okay. So my apologies. There you go. Thank you for the raid. I have been lurking in your stream, by the way. Uh, been doing the advent of code, right? How's that going? I was avoiding it, so just in case I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm done. I wanted to, I'm going to backtrack on everything I've said about advent of code, and do something. I didn't have a. I'm in pain and agony. Oh, nice. Well, not nice if that's actually physical, but if it's just from working with advent of code, then that's self-inflicted. No sympathy. I have neither the brain power nor the time to spend diverting to something yet again. Solve part one, stuck in part two. Nice. Well, that's how that goes, right? That's how most people get to it. They do what they can and go as far as they can, and then watch someone who makes it look easy and feel bad about yourself. But you know, I must reach to day 10 at least. That's lofty. From everything I've heard about people talking about Advent of Code before, day 10 is the target. Okay, so if we do, this will not work. Um, so I'm not very good at doing like the little challenges, at turning my brain to algorithms and stuff like that. I need an application, and if I can't engage with the application, I'm like, I just don't see why I'm doing it. And then I'm watching someone else do it and feeling inferior as a developer. So I don't like that feeling, so I avoid that feeling. Is basically how I do it. I can solve problems. I can write code. Am I the best at it? No, I'm not. I want to get better, but I don't feel I'm going to get better uh, um, if I'm feeling bad about myself from the offset. So learning at my own pace, and a timed challenge is not going to help me mentally, right? But besides, Pulumi is enough of a challenge for me right now. Okay, so let's get this. Let's get this up and running. Let's see if we can get that. If we can get the service deployed and failing. Let's go to which one's this one? 8289. So this is going to create a config map, a deployment, a secret, and a namespace for view receivers. It's going to bring that up. Right, we're going to see a new pod appear in here. And It's a bad sign. Um, object reference. Oh, it does need service bus. Why the heck does the receivers need service bus? Oh no! Please tell me I didn't wire in dependent. I do need service bus. Well, that ain't cracking, is it? Why do I need service bus in my receivers? I mean, it's not. It's not the end of the world. It's just RabbitMQ. I'm leaving the defaults again because I don't really. This is not a production build. I do not need to panic about those pieces. So I do need RabbitMQ in there. I do need RabbitMQ in. I'm starting to get a little scared that this is making a lot more sense than I thought it would do. My navigation of the configuration, etc., is getting much easier. RabbitMQ. Blew me up. Well, on the other end of code, I do wish you luck. I really do hope that you manage to persevere. Into day 10 would be an achievement for certain. It's original, create and replacement. Oh, there you go. Okay, so pods. That's working. uh 599. No, not 8599. Localhost 8089. So this is, oh, holy moly. Topics. The integration connected. It worked first time. The consumers picked up and consumed the data. We got it working. So this is okay. Let's summarize today. So Canny gave me this yesterday, and what it made me realize is that I was not setting the file replacements for the configuration. So that's what moved me away from trying to do some hand coded stuff, right? So in Angular JSON for my production, I said, okay, replace environment TS with environment production TS, right? So that when it builds, the configuration for production will replace the contents. So it use this. This works fine, right? We can now log in. We then went to create the receivers, run all the database scripts to create the view database in the Kubernetes database. This is the one that instance is communicating with. and we had to spend time figuring out how to do the publish profile to get the image published. But once the image was published into Docker, so basically what happens is when the application will publish now, when we do a release build, when we merge with main, essentially that what's going to happen is main is going to trigger the builds of all the images. The images are then going to get pushed, and we can now redeploy the application. Over time, I'll look at more CI/CD. I have to drop. Thanks for the stream. Apex, thank you very much for the gift sub. Thank you very much for coming hanging out. I do appreciate it. Have a great day and take care. Um, so the once the image was built, we were able to configure Pulumi. And configuring Pulumi in this case, because it's a console application, there's no endpoint to connect to. Nothing else is communicating with it, so I don't have to worry about networking there. All it's doing is communicating with these other pieces, with the Kafka broker, the console. And again, having these hard coded is not, I don't think is actually a problem, because these are the services. The scale out is still manageable, right? I can still scale up brokers, I can still scale out console or RabbitMQ, however, because it's the service we're communicating with. Ultimately, I create a dictionary of all these values and have them passed around the system so that I don't have to have them hard coded in here, and I can just look them up. Same for SQL Server, etc. SQL Server, yes, it's virtualized right now. It's not a challenge. It's good enough for this purpose. I'm not going to production deploy this, and even if I was going to, what I'll do is I'll create a SQL Server independent of this cluster, and run it that way. And also, I'm looking at using Postgre rather than SQL Server. So that's another thing. Created a deployment. This is the same behavior. Actually doesn't need the ports. That's kind of a useless addition. Maps the configuration file, so it pulls these values. Again, these values, this is a standard practice. If you were uploading these as app settings inside of Azure, you do the same thing, the double underscore view, and it takes them as variables. So it does a replacement there. And there we go. And then the depends on is the same stuff, right? I don't know if this actually functions, whether it makes Pulumi wait on things, but I believe that is the right thing. So you can tell it there is an explicit dependency on these other services being running. And that's it. It's configured. It's actually then the view integration has started up. It's consumed these messages. It's then gone and created the records in the view database. So now our views, we have a users view, right? And we have there's no tasks, there's no tenants view, but the tenants and the tenant users are there, wiring all those things up. So there we go. Users here is by tenant as well. So if the user exists in multiple tenants, they'd have multiple records in here. So this users is, so we can say, hey, me all the users for the tenant. Yeah, if you are new to the stream, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. Yesterday. Wow. So what's tomorrow? Well, now I've got that working. It's tempting to get the planning up and running, but what I think I'm actually going to do is get the actual Vue website deployed. So go through the same effort, build. So that will be go in here, create another workflow for view GraphQL.yaml, right? I'm going to label it view GraphQL just to keep it separate right a second. This will be this view GraphQL. This would be source view infrastructure. This one is basically, this is what's going to trigger this changing. So source view domain. So any changes to these files will trigger a build. So normally we do application domain infrastructure, right? So any change in any of those files will trigger this action to run. So we have the latest version, pardon me. This is going to be view GraphQL. This is going to be view. Oh, that's an improvement. Now, this should work because this is a website anyway, so it already has that attribute. I'm still gonna have to change something in here to make it build, but include GraphQL view GraphQL site build workflow. So I'm going to create a Docker Hub repository on the other side for this one, and then it's scripting it out like the client website basically. It needs to have actually it doesn't. It just needs to be internal and accessible. So it needs to route to basically the infrastructure gateway app settings here. So this needs to basically go to GraphQL service.ls GraphQL .svc.cluster.local, right? So that'll need to change. And now when requests come to GraphQL, it's going to go to this service. There's a few more quotes there because there's the WebSocket that's going to create a challenge there. But yeah, thank you for the follow, Anjala. Welcome in. But yeah, that is going to be the next phase. So getting that deployed. I'm not going to use the word just, but we've gone through a lot of this pain, right? We've gone through a lot of these pieces, and I think it's possible to proceed at a better pace now, having an understanding of what we have. So if you do have questions, thoughts, opinions on this, you're more than welcome to ask. If you do want to follow or ask further questions off stream, there is a Discord panel, Discord link in the panels below on YouTube and on Twitch. All the videos for the project are available on YouTube. I dual stream to YouTube and to Twitch. And the main project, once we get over this deployment piece, the main project application development will continue and start to ramp up into more complicated behaviors, more workflows. So before we moved away from deployment, we had sprints working, tasks, completion, etc., all those things working, planning items, filtering out. And the goal will be very much to say, okay, well, now we can deploy this application, use this application to plan the application and build the new features on stream. And as we go forward, control tower and all those other pieces. And there we go. But unfortunately, I have a day job to do. I can't do this 24/7. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out with me. We're going to raid over to full bots today because it's a full bot starter day. Amazing, wonderful stream though. Thank you, Online. Yeah, it's felt more productive today. If you're not aware, One Line streams Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and is a very supportive and amazing person that does help me a lot with the shout outs. Settlix, by the way, is a great game developer with the most imaginative bot out there and well worth checking out. But One Line streams work. which is again very engaging. A lot of very cool stuff on that stream of late. And Fridays are community days, which are also a great place to go and hang out and chat with other smart people, and sometimes me. But thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for coming and hanging out. We'll go raid Fullbots. Fullbots is building a game. The demo is up on Steam. Well worth checking out. Block shop. And yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you all.